Charlie actually hadn't had time to see Ruoli's perfect figure and curve clearly before she closed the door. At this time, Ruoli was ashamed and impatient. She quickly found a bathrobe and put it on, then blushed and ran back to open the door. Facing Charlie, her face was already red as if there were two sunrise clouds, and she said shyly, "I'm sorry Mr. Wade, just now I just opened the door too abruptly." Although Ruoli is a cruel martial arts master, emotionally, she is still a virgin who has never been tempted by the opposite sex. Therefore, when facing Charlie, her embarrassment made her look like a martial arts master. Charlie was somewhat embarrassed at this time. Ruoli is the same as Qin Aoshui, the little pepper of the Qin family, because they have received professional training all the year round, so both of them have excellent figures. Therefore, although the incident happened suddenly and hastily, it really feasted his eyes. It's just that Qin Aoshui didn't have the natural cold temperament of Ruoli. To put it bluntly, after getting acquainted with Qin Aoshui, she is like the little girl next door that all men like. But Ruoli had absolutely no such temperament. It wasn't because she was somewhat cramped in front of Charlie. In fact, her image in front of people always carried the taste of being far-sighted and not indecent, and even brought a cold and dangerous feeling to most men. After slightly adjusting his mentality, Charlie asked Ruoli, "Are you satisfied with your stay here?" Ruoli hurriedly said, "Very satisfied. I heard that this is the best hotel in Ors Hill, but I didn't expect Mr. Wade to be so polite." Charlie waved his hand. "It doesn't make any trouble. After all, Mr. Isaac is in charge of this hotel. Letting him arrange a few rooms is not a matter of great effort." Ruoli realized that Charlie was still standing at the door, so she hurriedly moved away, made a gesture of inviting, and said, "Mr. Wade, please come in and sit down." Charlie nodded and stepped into the room. Because it was a luxurious executive suite, Ruoli directly invited Charlie to sit on the sofa in the living room. As soon as Charlie sat down, she hurriedly used the tea from the hotel room to make a cup of tea and handed it to him, and said respectfully, "Mr. Wade, please have some tea." Charlie smiled slightly, thanked her, and then said, "Miss Sue, I don't know if you watch TV, number?" Ruoli stroked the hair between the temples with a somewhat unnatural expression and stammered, Last night actually. I haven't slept well. I only fell asleep in the early morning. Then I woke up and did a training session. Then you came." Charlie nodded and said, "I will probably tell you about it. Yesterday the National Security Agency of Japan issued a notice in which it disclosed your grandfather Chungfeng's activities with the self-defense forces." Ruoli said with a bit of resentment, "He is not my grandfather. I don't have such a grandfather." Charlie said, "I can understand your mood." Ruoli said embarrassedly, "I'm sorry Mr. Wade, I shouldn't interrupt you. You may continue." Charlie said, "But not long after, the media discovered that your father Zin flew to Australia overnight. Then the media changed the direction of the wind, saying that it was not your grandfather Chungfeng who betrayed you, but your father Zin. Saying that he betrayed you to silence your mouth and to bury the secret that you were his illegitimate daughter forever." Ruoli looked pale and said, This is not impossible." Charlie asked her, "Then which one do you believe more?" Ruoli thought about it for a few minutes before she said, "Mr. Wade, I believe that Chungfeng betrayed me." Charlie looked at her with interest and asked, "Oh? Why?" Ruoli said earnestly, "I have been by my father's side for several years. Although he has very fierce workmanship, he has a deep affection for his close relatives. He is very concerned about Zhufei and Ziyu and knows me. After knowing my true identity, he was also very concerned about me. I think he wouldn't kill me. If he really wants to kill me, he shouldn't leave me in Su's house after knowing I am his daughter." After that, she analyzed. Chungfeng is a very legendary successful businessman of the older generation from the outside world. He is kind and warm, but in fact, he is a very ruthless person. Moreover, his heart is cruel. Regardless of who it is, as long as the interests align, he will not let it go. Even his grandson is the same, so I think Chungfeng is more likely to betray me. Charlie nodded in agreement and said, "My views are the same as you. Although I don't know how the father and son are, from the sequence of events and the logic behind it, it is possible that the mastermind is Chungfeng." Even bigger, Zim went to Australia overnight. In fact, it was a mobile target that helped Changfeng attract firepower. It was also a mobile target that could only be hit, could not counterattack, and could not return the fire of words. Ruoli could not help sighing. Changfeng has always been in control of the Su family's power. Although my father is the eldest son and a quasi-heir, he has no real rights in the Su family. He is responsible and obliged to report to Changfeng. My father didn't dare to cultivate his own power at all, because Changfeng was extremely sensitive to this matter. If my father cultivated his own power under his nose, he would be very angry and might even directly deprive him of his power. Heir's power. So, no matter how you look at this matter from any aspect, Changfeng must be behind the scenes. Speaking of this, Ruoli said with a dim expression, however, I don't know whether my father participated in it, and how much he did. He knew it from the beginning to end, or he didn't. Or he did know with no objection to it. Charlie asked her, what are your plans, next? Ruoli hurriedly said, I have no plans of my own. When you rescued me, I had said at that time, I'll follow whatever you instruct. Charlie nodded and asked her, if one day, I want you to help me deal with the Su family, would you like to do it? Ruoli said without hesitation, I am willing to deal with the Su family. From my mother to me, I have been working hard to serve the family, and even ready to sacrifice for them at all times, but they have been so unsympathetic towards us. This hatred, I must repay it. Charlie nodded. If you say so. Ruoli hurriedly said, Mr. Wade, you let me deal with the Su family, Changfeng, and other family members. I have no objection, and I can't ask for it, but I don't want to deal with my father and my half-brothers and sisters. Except for the three of them, anyone with the surname Su is an enemy in my eyes.